Darren, you require 40.
He's feeling comfortable now.
And the match.
That was an
Darren
excellent
Webster.
first game of the group. Andy Bolton put in a 161 finish and some excellent stuff, but ultimately his 97 average is not good enough. Gumption from Webster, who manages to make the most of the fact that he had the throw and did so use it brilliantly in the last leg with the darts. 91.6 for him and 50% on the doubles is a good formula, and it might be very key to seeing him through this group. Over the next couple of nights, we're going to get our first look at Scott Taylor for this evening. What's he going to have in the locker against Ron the Bomb Meulenkamp? That comes up next. But over the last couple of years, things have just started to tail off.
180.
He's been through rebuilds before. He has completely remodeled his throw before. So don't expect him to just wither and go away into the dust and become a Dutch TV analyst.
180.
Hang on a minute, Scott. What are you up to?
Obviously not very happy about the missed starts at doubling that opening leg. It's one way to come back from it.
Was he going to go one better than Nathan Aspinall in Glasgow? And get him in price in Glasgow because they missed the double for the 9 tonight. He hasn't got to dart number 7 or
63
8 or 9.
Yeah, I think for Scott, he's missed 5 already at the double. Wasn't a part of his game that was giving him too much trouble over in Group A.
100.
No shortage of maximums tonight, Laura. We've had... You got to be kidding me. He's 17. I know he's under pressure, but he's lost a really good match to Price tonight. And he made what some people would classify as an error when he had a 96 checkout. Come on. Let's be a bit more responsible.
96.
What's he up to? If you don't get it the first time, I'll have another go.
Yeah, it's all about perseverance, isn't it? Perseverance and repetition. What you won't want to repeat is the same attempt of 141 he had in the previous leg.
Oh, come on. Come on! It's leg 3, there's been 6!
141.
It's on! Not anymore, he's getting closer. Just try again the next leg, Scott, you'll be fine. It's got to start now. Double 19. That's more like it.
On the 4th leg. Scott Taylor.
And
Scott,
2 legs in.
24.
And since then, it's been simmering.
Game, shot,
but there it is.
And the match.
There's the
Scott
parsley
Taylor.
on the dish because Scott Taylor has won it by 4 legs to 2. He found that break of throw in leg number 5. And what an assault he made on Ron Meulenkamp early and was pegged back. But 4 180s for him and 2 for Ron Meulenkamp tell us a very interesting story. But Taylor was the better player in the end, getting 15 chances at a double in that one compared to Ron's 4. So we go to game number 3. Does anybody fancy a bit of chaos? Because he's coming.
I've just pointed out my shoes. I have got a dirty, great big mark on them from when I took the kids to the fair yesterday.
Game shot on the 2nd leg.
Reese has just left a big mark on leg 2. That did not last long. Grab them at the board one more time. Admittedly, after a maximum.
180.
Shake the head.
Required 32.
He thinks the game is over.
Game, shot,
he was right.
And the match.
That was a very accomplished display from Reese Colley. He did come down average-wise by about 10 points in the end, because after 5 minutes of that game, he was in a hugely advantageous position, especially after taking that 1-2-1 checkout in leg 2. Ultimately, he came down, but still got the commanding result. So 4-1 for him after game 3 means that he will have points on the board before he plays Scott Taylor in the halfway point game, which is game 5. Number 4 is coming up. It's Meulenkamp against Bolton. That one could be fiery. Richer with 20
96.
bags of sand. Now Andy's going to be scratching his head at the
Game
fact
shot
that
the
he's
second
2-0
leg.
down.
Ron Moulenkamp.
That's an 11-darter, and somebody is starting to warm up. He doesn't want to be languished at the bottom of the table after the first half of play tonight. But the mistake has
24.
been made, and he
Ron, you're
can't
required
look
20.
as Ron goes to break him on double 10. Can he find double 10 with the last start?
Game shot.
It'll feel
and the
even
match.
worse that it was the
Ron
last start.
Moulenkamp.
It's the second time tonight that Andy Bolton has lost by 4 legs to 3. I suppose the only bright side is that his leg difference isn't that bad, even though he's lost 2 games. But pay homage to Ron Moulenkamp, who played beautifully at times in that match. His average is almost 10 more than his opponent, and he does walk away with 1 more dart at double that has hit, even though they had the same amount of attempts at 16. When we come back, it will be game number 5. Scott Taylor will be taking on Chaos, and that could be rather good. Let's focus on the players who are on the hockey right now. Aha! It's the old Mensa
Game shot the
Sunovic
third
approach.
leg. Scott Taylor.
I like it. And in the words of Jim Carrey, I like it a lot. But I think it's the intensity that he plays with. That will tire him out.
180. Reach a
Tell you
record
what,
of
after this Champions League, he's going to
124.
sleep well. However, Reece Colley's giving him nightmares.
Game
Because
shot,
Reece
and the
Colley
match.
wins by
Reece
4 legs to
Colley.
1 with a classy 95 plus average. And his finishing was spot on. 4 hits from 6. And he's the man who is going to be leading at the halfway point of night number 1. If you look at his first game, well, he had the decent average against Darren Webster, but that was a definitive improvement. If he plays like that the rest of the night, he might not be far away from 8 points. The halfway points, we have Webster and Moulenkamp coming up after this. Are we going to have all square? Or is Darren Webster going to be 2 points up? He chooses 32.
Game shot on the
Fabulous
sixth
choice
leg.
and some gumption
Ron
from the bomb
Moulenkamp.
as well. This is a spicy affair, which will be a 1-leg shootout. Disgusted. Again, Ron's got 62, but this time it's with 2 darts.
Game shot.
That's a
and the
wonderful
match.
12-darter
Ron Moulenkamp.
to finish the match off. Well, it ends on a sour note, but 4-3 to Moulenkamp means that he's got 4 points after the 6th match. The recovery was unbelievable. A 12-darter in the last leg with 3 140s attached to it. He did a great job, and Webster has got stuff to think about before he plays Scott Taylor in Game 9, which will be his final match. We've got Andy Bolton against Taylor next, and that's the 4th match that they've played this week.
There from Andy Bolton. Puts a little bit more pressure on this 170. Have seen it already once today. Will we see it again? Needs the ball. Just taking his time.
Game
And
shot on
that
the
is
third
the
leg.
bullseye. That is
Scott
a 170
Taylor.
finish there for Scott Taylor.
150.
Some kind of last leg decider, but perhaps not looking likely.
Match starter tops.
Game
And Scott
shot,
Taylor gets
and
rid of the
match.
game
Scott Taylor.
fairly quickly. It's another one of those matches where Andy Bolton does play well, but loses. For the second time tonight, he averages over 95, but only gets 2 legs on this occasion. It's just been one of those nights. It's a bit like the Eagles in here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. But Scott Taylor has got 4 points from a possible 6, and he's got 1 game left against Darren Webster, who was upset by Ron Moulenkamp in the last match that they played. Speaking of the bomb, though, if he thinks he's got an easy ride as he comes into his last match, think again. Things are about to get rather chaotic. Is the bomb going to go off in his final match? If he walks away with 6 points tonight, he is extremely close to Saturday night. Double top.
Game shot on the first
Very,
leg.
very nice.
Ron Moulenkamp.
Just a thought that maybe Colley could win this match now. To take us to the last leg decider, he needs tops.
Game shot on the 6th leg.
Everything
Reece Colley.
changes. This goes.
Ron, you require
The bomb
86.
goes off. Brilliant. 2 darts at double 16 to finish with 6 points.
Game shot,
Extraordinary.
and the match.
What a game
Ron
that was.
Moulenkamp.
A superb match. Ron was 3-0 up. He was reeled in by the brilliance of Reece Colley, but unfortunately he didn't have the darts in the last leg and just missed out on getting the chance to steal it. Look how close it was in the averages as well. And we only got one maximum in that brilliant match that lasted 7 legs. Absolutely sensational. We've got about 3 minutes to savour that one because we've got Taylor against Webster to come. Well, he won't be pleased with those 2 darts at double 14. But you don't see many people doing that on 47. And one of the reasons why is because if you split it, you've got
65.
this.
Scott, you require 14. Game
That's
shot,
the game, and
the
Darren
match.
Webster's darts
Scott
were already
Taylor.
away. His night is over, and he has to settle for 2 points. As for Scott Taylor, he's going to walk away with 6 points. He played really, really well this evening. But speaking of the 2 points that Webster has got, it's 2 more than Andy Bolton. He wants to get 2 by the end of the night, and he's got to go through Reece Colley.
And he requires 6.
Double 3. Left or right? Got to be left.
Game
That is
shot
a
on the 4th
seriously
leg.
world-class shot.
Andy Bolton.
Fire away.
Reach you require 18. $10.
Yeah, and it's Bolton
Andy
back.
required 25.
More match opportunities here. 9 for double 8.
Game shot.
And it
and
is
the
double
match,
8. And a
Andy
sarcastic
Bolton.
wave of the hands there from Andy Bolton as he does secure his first win of the evening. It was a hard-fought win there for Andy Bolton, but one he desperately, desperately needed. Reece Colley, he's won 2 from 2 himself this evening. And there you see the averages, an 82-18 there for Reece Colley, 80-70 for Andy Bolton. But it's that overall result that will mean the world to Andy Bolton. So we can go over and we can join Henry with Paul in the studio.
Wow, what an intriguing night's worth of darts. Andy Bolton getting over the line right at the very last there. 4-1 victory against Reece Colley. We're watching all the action tonight in the company of the asset Paul Nicholson, who joins us now in the studio. Well, before we have a quick chat, let's run the wall over what we have seen so far this evening. And, well, it's an evening where things kind of went one way or another for a lot of our players.
If you'd have said that this was going to happen at the start of tonight, I'm not sure I would have believed you. A very perplexing evening, and I'm already looking forward to Friday night because things could be very, very different, and this table is very unpredictable. Andy is going to go to bed tonight probably after 30 to 45 minutes of thinking of how am I in this predicament. Reece Colley will be wondering why he's only got 4 points. Ron Moulenkamp might be thinking, how have I got 6? It's just been a really, really odd evening, but it begs the question of how interesting will Friday be?
It could well be a freaky Friday here at the Super Series. It is fair to say. Right, let's compart the night. Let's try and run the wall as much as we can over what we've seen this evening. We can have a look at the results from tonight's session first and foremost to help us into that predicament, help us into that scenario. This is what we've seen then tonight, and well, it was intriguing even. It began with that 4-3 win for Darren Webster. Bolton on the wrong end of 4-3 scorelines, while Moulenkamp getting the better of Reece Colley by that score as well. And let's begin by talking about Ron then, because he lost that first game against Scott Taylor. Are you pleased with the response that he then made after that?
Yes, because he had a performance that he wouldn't have been happy with, then one that he was very pleased with. Then it just went down again, but up again. So if he can just temper the bad games a bit and maintain some of the good stuff, Saturday is going to be there for him. He's within two games. He gets to 10 points, he's going to be there. And let's not forget that he wasn't even supposed to be here. So he might exchange texts with Chris Landman as if to say, well done on Q School, pal.
Can you have that mentality as a player that when you're not supposed to be in something that actually you will actually get your best darts out of you, or you get a good result out of you as a result of that?
Yeah, I think sometimes you can have a free hit. There are players who have even said that in interviews today. You can believe that at the start, but when you're in the heat of battle, you don't think that way. You want to win no matter what the tournament is. And now that they've got the opportunity to come and get their hands on this and obviously cash big, pressure will be there no matter what.
Well, let's have a chat about Scott Taylor now then, shall we? And this is a really intriguing stat. Since the beginning of last week, he has played 46 matches in this competition. 38 of those matches, he has recorded an average over 90.
I'm not surprised by that. Think about the amount of seasons that Scott has played Pro Tour darts, Challenge Tour darts, and the level of ability that he has. If you want to be an elite dart player, which I firmly believe that Scott wants to be, you have to average over 90 most of the time. In this venue, this setting, whatever you want to call it, if you're doing it on a regular basis, we will laud it. However, if you want to take this worldwide, you've got to do that all the time. And it does confirm that Scott is a world-class talent.
Yeah, some amazing stats from Taylor there, and he treated us to the big fish. And it's fair to say that he's got some form for doing this here at the Super Series. He's done it in back-to-back weeks now.
Yeah, and I expect him to hit another one. No pressure, Scott, but it's always nice to see a bullseye hitting a shot like that where it's not next to the wire. But he's done some good stuff tonight. He's worked very, very hard. He was first in the building. He was here about 2.5 hours before the first game that he was going to play, getting on the stage and getting ready. That preparation has served him well. And you know he's got an engine because he saved his best performance for last, averaging over 101.
Are we beginning to look even more preeminently at a player that looks likely to pick this cup up? He's showing all the attributes of a potential champion, isn't he?
He is, but don't forget that Tom Sykes is just sitting at home watching all of these people stressing it out, and he knows he's going to play well Saturday night. He's more prepared for a Saturday night than he's ever been, albeit coming into one off a 2-day break. He's never done that before, but Tom's someone who just knows how to get the job done these days. People are going to have to be on their game if they're going to topple him come Saturday night, that's for sure. But is the winner going to come from this group? Usually it does.
It usually does, but I'm sure Tom Sykes and the likes of Ken Cradgell have other things to say, that is for sure. Right, let's have a look at the table before we leave you this evening, because Scott Taylor is the clubhouse leader. Him and Ron Meulenkamp tied on 6 points. Reece Colley on 4 and won his first 2 matches. Andy Bolton and Dan Webster with work to do when it comes to Friday. And you know what, Paul? We've been here so many times, haven't we, on Champions Week? And tomorrow is one of the best days we have here at the Modus Super Series. We might have Champions Night on Saturday, but we love Championship Friday.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And I don't want to look past the first game of Group B tomorrow, because we have the reverse fixture of Bolton against Colley. They'll both be fresh, coming in for their first match of the night. There will be separation if Colley gets off to a flyer. A 4-point gap with only 3 games to go. That's not good news for Andy. He must get out of the blocks tomorrow, otherwise he's in real trouble.
Should be good fun tomorrow. Right, we better go and get some kip and prepare for a blockbuster day of darts.
Yeah, I think we need a heightening of standard from Group C. It wasn't brilliant today, but if they're going to catch Cam Crabtree, they're going to have to get a move on.
Most certainly will. Well, Paul, thank you for your company today. Thank you to Laura Turner as well. Thank you for your company at home this afternoon and this evening. What has been a mammoth blockbuster day worth of darts. And tomorrow it hatchens up another notch, because it is Championship Friday. And by this time tomorrow evening, we will know the names of the 6 players that will be battling out for this famous trophy. It's been won by legends and legends in the making, and somebody else is going to lift it. It is going to be a new champion on Saturday evening. And as far as Group B is concerned, well, it is 6 of the best for Scott and Ron. Bye-bye from us.